This is the Bigscreen Beyond, and I've had it for just about over a month now, and I'm going to be doing my first impressions of this thing in this video. And the video is going to go something like this. Number one, we're going to talk about the story of the first time I used the Beyond, the positives I noticed and the negatives. We'll then talk about how Bigscreen helped me resolve some of these issues because I did actually have to send my Beyond back to swap the IPD. And then finally, I want to explain why this video is a first impressions video and not a full review, because there is an important reason I'm holding off on the full review. And a word of warning to anyone watching this, the beginning half of this video may seem like I'm being quite negative, but it's because I'm trying to make a point about buying a custom-made headset like this. And as always, I'm trying to be as honest as possible. And I promise you, by the end of this video, it will all make sense, and spoiler alert, I actually really like this device. And just to be 100% clear again, this video is not sponsored by anyone, and I bought this thing with my own money. So with that out of the way, let's start with the story of me using this device for the first time. My Bigscreen Beyond arrived on the 24th of February of this year, and funnily enough, I ordered it on the 24th of February last year, so exactly 1 year to the day. So I opened up the box, and holy moly, the first thing you notice is how small this thing is. If I just grab my phone here and put it next to it, like I'm not like holding the phone back further away or whatever, that's exactly in line with the thing. Look, it's smaller than my phone. That's crazy. It reminds me of Ready Player One, and it really does feel like a true next-gen device. Anyways, the game I decided to test the Beyond with is Half-Life Alyx, more specifically the Jeff chapter of the game. And I picked this chapter for two reasons. The first reason being there's a lot of spores and particles in the air, which I thought would be good for testing the resolution. And the second more important reason is the lights cut out on this level, and I thought that would be really cool to test out the micro OLED panels on this thing. And before I used the Beyond, I actually played through the whole level with my Valve Index first, so I'd have the comparison fresh in my mind. And once I was done with the level on the Index, I plugged in the Beyond and put this thing on for the first time, and two things became immediately apparent. First, the resolution and the colors were amazing. I held my hand up in-game, and I could see so many details on Alex's hand that were literally impossible to notice on the Index. Oh wow, the coloring in here is so much better. This is just so detailed. I can't see the pixels. And the second thing I noticed was that my right eye was slightly blurry, and initially I thought it was fog on the lens, and that if I continued playing, this fog should eventually dissipate. So I continued making my way through the level, and it was almost like I was playing Half-Life Alyx Remastered, because the resolution was so high and you just don't see any pixels. It was like the difference between the Index and the Beyond is truly like a step up in resolution. It's cool. Like there was just one point where I was staring at a wall because I could see on the wall where the paint was old, and there were like bubbles forming under the paint, and you just don't see that on the Index. You just can't see it. And then I got to the point in the level where the lights cut out, and I think I should just let my reaction do the talking. Oh, this looks so good! This looks amazing! Oh, holy moly. It's actually dark around everywhere. This looks amazing. I knew I needed to wait until it got to a dark moment because holy moly. This was sort of like a light bulb, like I understand this headset, I get it moment for me. Like this isn't a full review of this thing, but in the short amount of time I've been using this, I now no longer want to go back to a headset that doesn't use micro OLED displays. And I've been trying to think of a way to describe to you guys as viewers how big of a difference a micro OLED display makes. And it's kind of hard because I can't show you visually, but I think I found a way to do it. So let's do this little experiment together. If the lights are off in your room right now, go and turn them on, and then when you have your lights on, just stand in your room and close your eyes like this. So now that you have your eyes closed, you can tell that it's dark and it's meant to be dark, right? But you can still perceive light coming through your eyelids. This is kind of similar to what it's like using a Valve Index or a Quest 3, where it's a dark scene, but you can still see light coming through the darkness. Now, let's simulate what it's like with the Beyond. So close your eyes again, and with your eyes still closed, cover your eyes with your hands. That is what it's like using an OLED display, and you can actually swap between the two to see the comparison, right? It's not exactly the most perfect comparison, but I think it gives you a rough idea of what I'm talking about and how much of a difference a micro OLED display makes to these dark scenes in VR. So when playing a game in VR, like a horror game or any game where it goes dark, this thing shines above everything else. So after that light bulb moment had worn off, I continued playing, and this is is where I started to notice a couple of things. So when I was moving my head around a scene, if I moved quickly or something moved quickly in a scene, there would be this kind of ghosting or motion blur kind of effect that I would be seeing. Now, I didn't know it at the time, but this is something called persistence, and it turns out I'm quite susceptible to it. I also noticed after a while that I was getting a bit of pressure on my nose, which is because of how the Beyond was sitting on my face. And then the final thing that I noticed was, unfortunately, that fog in that right eye was not going away, which meant that it wasn't fog, it was just that eye was blurry. So when I finished with the play session and took off the headset, I came away from it with more positive thoughts than negative. Like, I could see what Bigscreen Beyond was aiming to do if it's like up here, and for me the experience, because of those negatives, was down here. It was still positive, but they were not what they were aiming for, basically. Which leads me quite nicely onto my next positive, which is that the Bigscreen Beyond support are amazing. The person from support that helped me was called Alula, and she was super helpful, and if you're watching this, thank you very much for putting up with all my questions. And we quickly figured out that the IPD was slightly wrong by about 2mm, and that the face cushion wasn't quite sitting right on my face. And it was these two things together that made it so that my right eye wasn't quite sitting in the sweet spot for the headset. And with the edge-to-edge clarity with the Bigscreen Beyond being slightly less than other headsets, it meant that my right eye was slightly blurry. So my old Beyond was shipped back to Bigscreen, and they sent me a new headset with a new cushion which was thinner than the old one. And if you'd like to see a comparison, this is the old one here, and that's the new one. So you can see that it's quite a bit thinner. And when I got this new Beyond back and tried it on again, it fit perfectly. And so I want to go through those negatives again, because all of them got fixed by changing the size and the face cushion. So the right eye blur and the IPD, completely fixed. And with this thinner, more correctly placed face cushion, 9 times out of 10 when I put this headset on now, I'm instantly in the sweet spot. There's no fidgeting around, I just put it on and bam, it's good to go. And because the face gasket is a bit thinner now, it meant that my eyes got closer to the lenses, which means that the FOV slightly increased, and also the edge-to-edge clarity also increased a bit. Remember that nose pressure I was talking about? Completely fixed. No pressure now on the thing. I've used this headset for like 4 hours straight. That's the most I've gone with it. No problems with comfort whatsoever now. And finally, the motion blur / persistence. Bigscreen support explained to me that the issue of the persistence can be fixed by lowering the brightness of the headset. So I had it at 100%. I now play on like 40% brightness, and I have no problems with persistence now at all. It's perfect. It's perfect. So as you've just seen, after working with support, the new headset and cushion have completely fixed all of the problems I had with this headset. And that is the point I want to kind of hammer home to anyone that might consider buying this headset. Because buying a Beyond is more akin to like buying a shoe than it is buying any other headset. And what I mean by that is, if you go into a shoe store and you sit down and you try on a pair of shoes, most of the time, if you know your shoe size, it will fit perfectly. But there is a chance that it won't fit quite right because it's a new type of shoe that you've never tried before. So you go and talk to the Mr. Shoe salesman over there, and you're like, hey, I need to get a different size shoe. This doesn't fit quite right. And they go, okay, no problem. I'm gonna go and get you a new size shoe. I'll be back in a second. They go in the back, bring out the slightly different size shoe. You try it on. It's perfect, you're happy. And I think this is something that you should bear in mind when buying a Bigscreen Beyond, because it's a custom-made headset for you. And I'm sure that Bigscreen will tell you that most of the time when they send these to their customers, it fits perfectly and they're happy with it. But there is a chance that you try this thing on and the shoe doesn't quite fit right. And if that does happen to be the case for you and your Beyond, don't just suffer in silence. Send Bigscreen support a message, because they want you to have a good experience with this thing. And if it's not fitting quite right, they will help you figure it out. Now, like I said at the beginning of this video, this isn't my full review of the Bigscreen Beyond. One reason for that is that I've only had this correct fitting Beyond for just over a month, and I'm still gathering my thoughts on things like the FOV and the edge-to-edge clarity. But there is one other pretty big reason that this isn't a full review, and it's quite personal, and I'm sure some of you might disagree with me on this. Because in my opinion, this headset, as I have it right now, is half a headset. And I'm waiting until I can get my hands on the Bigscreen Beyond audio strap before I do my full review. And just to be clear, I have no problems with the fact that Bigscreen is selling the audio strap separately. From Bigscreen's research, they found that a lot of their users already have high quality audio headphones and therefore wouldn't want to pay extra if the Beyond came packaged with the audio strap, because they wouldn't use it. But for me personally, while this fabric strap is way more comfortable than I thought it would be, I'd still prefer to have a hard audio strap, because I don't have high quality headphones. I want the high quality from the strap itself. And so for the last month, I've been using this, which is a USB-C to audio jack adapter, and then these earbud headphones, which are a bit of a faff because you put the headset on and then you have to put the earbuds in, and then there's all of this wire dangling down, and then you have to tuck this into your shirt, and then you can play. So if we compare this to Valve Index, which is very similar to what the audio strap is going to do for the Beyond, it's just bosh, bosh, and you've got audio, and you don't have to faff with anything, and it's just great. But from what I just read in the Bigscreen Discord the other day, it seems like the audio strap is going to start shipping in June, so we're only going to have to wait a month for that. And if I can give you any indication of how this review is going to go once I get the audio strap, even with the fact that I have to faff around with the headphones, I have not had any desire to go back to this. So yeah, keep a lookout for that full review. It's going to be a good one once I get the audio strap, hopefully in June. And yeah, we're going to be doing a Lethal Company live stream on Sunday at 6:30 p.m. UK time. So if you want to come and join us for that, that would be really awesome. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.